Hey, hey, hey. It's the first bonus episode of the Infectious Grove Podcast, and we have a album tournament of sorts that we're going to do. What we did was I've got Kyle and Michelle here with me remotely, as is the new usual. Kyle and I picked 8 albums apiece that we like. So what's going to happen is I match them up in the old spreadsheet there, and each week each of us will defend one album, and then and this has got to be Michelle's favorite part, Michelle gets to judge. How do you feel about that?
Yay.
Yeah. She said yay. So
I'm so stoked.
Right. So one thing I did want to mention is that this originally, we discussed this a while ago, and we were going to make this like paid content for later in the year. But with everything going on, we figured why not just do it for free now? Like, we have the time. Everybody has asked for more content since everyone is stuck at home. So we figured we'll just do it for free. This time around, I'm sure we'll learn some things and, maybe run it again later in the year with different picks or based off of listener suggestions or something like that. So having said that, I think we have some really interesting matchups planned for each week, that some albums that go together, some that would never go together. But it's all being brought to you by 3 people with pretty interesting and varied tastes. So having said that, this week's first matchup is a pretty distant matchup. It's records that came out about 30 years apart, but by artists who have been around since the early 70s. So this week's picks were the 1993 classic Get a Grip by Aerosmith, which is going to go head-to-head with Tapestry by Carole King, which, again, both classic albums in their own way. So having said that, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to Kyle. Kyle, go ahead and start making a case for Get a Grip.
All right, so I chose this album for a few reasons. One, because I it's a CD that my mom had growing up, and I listened to a bunch. 2, it's a smash record. There's tons and tons of great songs on it. Also, you get a mix of all sorts of different genres, really. You get the rock and roll that Aerosmith is. You get a little bit of Steven Tyler's country in there, and then you get him rapping at the very beginning.
I was just going to say that the record kicks off with almost a rap cut. I mean, it's only 30 seconds.
Yeah, so, he's a rapper, rocker, country singer on this album, and there's just some songs I really, really love on this album.
So for those who may not be overly familiar, like, most of your favorite Aerosmith songs, if you like Aerosmith from the 80s and 90s, probably came from this record. The singles alone are like Eat the Rich, Amazing, Crying, Crazy. The lead single was Living on the Edge. Of those, which ones do you think are your favorites, Kyle?
Living on the Edge is, I think, my favorite song on the album. You can ask Michelle when we were playing it. I was just like yelling and singing the entire time.
He kept telling me to turn it to 11.
Plus they always say, there's that old adage, you haven't really made it until Weird Al covers you. And Weird Al did Living on the Edge. It was that big of a hit. He did a version of Living on the Edge on the Alapalooza record, so that's funny too. But my thing with Get a Grip is it's a really strong record from the non-singles too. Like the title cut, Get a Grip, which comes in right after Eat the Rich, is fantastic. Shut Up and Dance is a fantastic cut. Really, to be honest, and I'm just going to tell you right now, my biggest problem with the record, and it minuses so many points for me, is the song Joe Perry sings, Walk On Down.
Yeah.
It's just not a good song. And in full disclosure, I saw Aerosmith 3 times on the Get a Grip tour. It was the first 3 times I saw Aerosmith, and 2 of the 3 times they did Walk On Down, and I was severely unhappy all 3 times.
What drew me to this record when I was younger is the fact that there is a cow's nipple with a nipple ring on the front of it.
There sure is. And then if you get the original CD of it too, the actual CD has like 5 nipples around it, which I assume is to be the 5 members of Aerosmith. I don't know.
So the secondary reason of why I chose this album is because I thought a classic Aerosmith album would stand up very well to pretty much a lot of what I thought that you would have chosen for the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Now, me personally, if I was going to go with 80s, 90s Aerosmith, I would have done Pump. But the thing with Pump is that Pump, in my opinion, the non-singles on Pump are better than the songs that were the singles. And it would take a lot of, like, most people would look at Pump side by side with Get a Grip and just go, oh, you're crazy. Get a Grip's the better record because it had more monster singles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What else do you got to say about Get a Grip? This is your time, Kyle. Get it in.
It's just
That's what you said.
If I'm assuming that most people listening to this podcast have listened to this record. I'm not the biggest Aerosmith fan on earth, but their older stuff is fantastic. This is one of the albums that's, like you said, Pump is a great album as well. This album just sticks out to me based upon the fact that I have like a childhood connection to it.
Yeah.
I also did see, after I listened to this again, they are rescheduling dates for their residency in Las Vegas, and I was like, I would kill to go see them in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Aerosmith puts on a fantastic show. And Michelle, you just saw Steven Tyler, what was it, 2 years ago now?
It's probably been at least 2 years.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, to say you were impressed would be an understatement, would it?
Yeah, it was free tickets, and even at the free tickets, I was like, I don't want to go. And then
I don't remember that at all. Oh no, wait, that's exactly how you were.
I'll go. He'll just keep bothering me. He'll keep calling me. I'll go. And I would say right from the first second that the concert started, I was like, well, damn.
Well, and he opened with Sweet Emotion too. I mean, that's like cash money, you know.
And at the end, I was like, well, I owe somebody money for this.
Oh, you can pay me. You can pay me.
I mean, it was free tickets through the casino, so no. But
right.
One thing I didn't really realize back then, listening to it, is that recently, as like a few years ago, he put out that country record of just him or whatever.
Sure did.
And he's been wanting to do and doing country music for a long time. This album has a few very, very country-ish songs on it.
Oh, for sure. If anybody wants to hear Steven Tyler's, in my opinion, his country roots, you can go back 2 records before Get a Grip. Aerosmith has an album called Permanent Vacation that really kicked off their big comeback. Big singles off of it was Ragdoll, Angel, Dude Looks Like a Lady. Anyways, there's a cut off of there called Hangman Jury that is like, I don't know, it's like kind of blues, but it's very country. They actually opened their Unplugged with it years ago, and it's just, but even like the first couple of Aerosmith records, like back in like 71, 72 or whatever, there was like a country twang to what Steven Tyler was doing at that time. And speaking of country, there's go ahead.
Him and the harmonica too, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's one other connection about this record that I totally forgot to mention that I had in my notes, which is directly connected to country, which is there's a non-single on this record called Fever that Garth Brooks covered about 3 or 4 years after Get a Grip came out. He put it on, I think it's on the it's not on No Fences, it's on Fresh Horses, I think. And he rewrote the lyrics to be about cowboy having a fever for the rodeo. But for me, that was cool because it wasn't even a single, and I liked Get a Grip enough that I knew Fever. So it was cool for me when people were like, oh, he's going to cover Aerosmith. Everybody figured it would be a well-known song, and it was this one that wasn't all that well-known, you know? Have you guys, I can't remember. Have you guys heard that?
I want to say yes. I don't know. We listened to a bunch of his covers at your house one time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's a cool cover. It's, like I say, most people would hear it and just be like, I don't even know that. How's that Aerosmith? But yeah, it's right there on Get a Grip. So any closing points, or is that everything you want to get across about Get a Grip? Great album artwork, great album overall, and it's full of smash. Well, not only singles, but just smashes in general. Like it's just a great album overall. For sure. Well, what's funny, and this is what I said in the intro, I totally agree on this type of stuff. It's a fan. I was like, are you supposed to be fighting? And you're like, I'll tell you why his album is the best. No, and there. Oh, let me tell you what. I've seen the future matchups, and there are going to be points where I'm going to tell you exactly why I think the other one is much better. But my thing with my pick for this round was Tapestry by Carole King, and again, a lot of people might say, how'd those records go up against each other? Again, we picked 8 records. I put them in a bracket, and this is how it fell. So this is like a certain number pick of Kyle's versus a certain number of mine, and that's how the tournament fell. So it wasn't like, oh, we're going to put 90s albums against each other or this genre against each other or whatever. So yeah, and it was random, so there was no sort of like formula to it. You just chose random albums that you liked from any genre or whatever, and this is how it ended up. Yeah, absolutely. So that is how we end up with an Aerosmith album from 1993 going up against a Carole King record from 71. My main points about Tapestry is, it's her second record, but boy, is it a monster. I mean, it's all written by her, with a very few exceptions. There's some lyrics that she had a couple of partners write on, like It's Too Late, some of the lyrics of Where You Lead, and then the ones that she didn't write that are on there, like Will You Love Me Tomorrow and Natural Woman, her covers of those songs are just stunning. And my thing with this record is it's it's such. I mean, the track listing on this record looks like a greatest hits right off the bat. Like, I Feel the Earth Move, It's Too Late, what was it? Will You Love Me Tomorrow, Natural Woman. I mean, the record looks like a greatest hits on its own. Now, I know you two have been listening to these records in the house. Had either of you listened to Tapestry straight through before this?
I had not. I was surprised at how many songs I had heard that I knew off of it. Like, I obviously knew the covers, and there was, oh yeah. But I never listened to it from front to back before.
Yeah, I though I did know a bunch of the songs off it, I had never listened to it all the way through. This was the first time, just sitting there listening to everything.
Yeah, and that was my thing, was that the thing with the record is that it's so good that when you put it on, if you've never heard it all the way through, you instantly go, oh, I know that song. Oh, I know that song. Oh, I know that song. Because those songs are so monster, and they're so part of, like, the ethos, you know, like everyone has covered Carole King. Everyone has worked with Carole King. I mean, I think the biggest bullet point that I can make for this record is her influence is so strongly felt because of this record. In my opinion, most of every woman who had hits after 1971 would probably tell you it was because of Tapestry. You know, like, that record got them into the industry. That's what made them want to be fans of, you know, female songwriters. Like, I just think she came out in 1971 with this record and just rewrote the rule book. You know, I mean, do either of you get that feeling from it, or I mean?
Yeah, and when I seen that you had added that as your pick for this round, I was like, oh shit, because like. Yeah, it's just the entire album is just stacked full of. It's
funny that you mentioned that. I talked to a couple of you know, who I would call like my third base and first base coaches, friend of the show Joe and James Porter, and I kind of talked to them about my picks and whatnot. And literally both of them, you could tell they were reading down my picks, and they were like this, and oh, that's a good one, another. And both of them in independent conversations were like, oh my, and I was like, oh, I see you found my dark horse pick. So, what stood out for you about it, Michelle? Because I know last night you sent me a text, and I don't know it verbatim. I'm not looking at it right now, but it said something to the effect of, spoiler alert, Carole King is a badass. Like, what made you, what stood out for you?
Are you done with your analyses?
No, I'm not ready for your ruling, but yes.
Well, no, because I have notes on them both, and
sweet.
I was going to share them.
Yes,
she brought
and you know
notes.
What? Learning from that going forward, I apologize. Going forward, after we each make our case, I'll have you do your notes for each record before we move on. Yes. So, anyways, go on with your notes about, I guess, start with Get a Grip.
Okay, can I say that I went into this and I saw Carole King and I saw Aerosmith, and I was like, well, Carole King can't be Aerosmith. Like, sure. I'm just saying that I was just like, that, I don't know. Like, Carole King to me is very iconic, but it wasn't something that like, is like, oh, well, this is my jam. I'm going to sit down and just like really jam out to some Carole King. And so I started with Carole King. I put on Tapestry, and like I said earlier, it was jam, 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 jam. And
that's 4 jams.
Yes. It was my jammy jams, if you will. And I went through it and we were listening to it, and I had forgotten that Cheryl's cover was on there. Mm-hmm. And then we listened to So Far Away, and Kyle was like, Rod Stewart does that song. And so then like we pulled that up and we listened to Rod Stewart, and a lot of people have covered her. And it was shocking to me how much was on that record.
Yeah, well, it was shocking to pretty much every other male artist who put out an album that year as well, according to the charts.
Yeah. I also didn't know that James Taylor was on it. So I had such a big hand in it, which I'm not a James Taylor fan at all, but I do appreciate what he's done in music in general. So I will say that was probably a little bit of, I don't know, a shock to me that I didn't know, like, there was harmonies that he did, I think, on there. Is that true?
Yeah, he did some of the harmonies. He played, I think, all the acoustic guitar, but he definitely threw in some harmonies.
Yeah. There were definitely songs on there, like the title track, Not My Jam. That's literally what my notes say. Title track equals Not My Jam.
Man, I'll tell you what, for all the accolades and the praise that Carole King has got, wherever she's at right this second, she just went, damn.
You know, I will say, too, while we're still on, while we're still talking about Carole King, this is going to be an unpopular opinion overall. I'm betting, but I do like Rod Stewart's version of So Far Away better than her version.
Do you think it's because you heard it first? Because I feel like when we played it, you were like, I didn't know this was Carole King, and we actually had to look up to see who did it first. Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Sure. This is when I kind of figured out what year it came out, and like we kind of
well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that think she did Natural Woman first.
Yeah.
Because so many people own Tapestry.
Yeah, well, those are only 4 years apart, too. Natural Woman came out in 1967, I think, and Carole King was 1971, so.
For sure.
And I don't really know if it's because I heard Rod Stewart's version first. I just think that I like his version overall better than hers.
I mean, let's not discount Rod Stewart in this situation. Rod knows his way around a song. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I was just asking if that's why because I feel like that happens to me all the time where I'm like, I hear the original and I'm just like, nah.
I was just saying that as a response to Kyle. Like, you don't have to apologize for liking the Rod Stewart version of that particular cut more. Like, Rod knows his way around a song. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
There also is a hilarious music video to go along with the Rod Stewart version of that song.
Man, I have to guess he did it in like what, the late 70s or the early 80s then?
Yeah, so I think it's the early 80s, and it's like basically it's like early green screen work where like there's live people walking in like photos, like old black and white photos.
Oh boy.
And there's a part where he's staring out the window at himself, and like the version of him behind himself is where he's moving, and he's like staring out at a photograph of himself or whatever. It's ridiculous. So you're like funny looking.
You're saying if this were a battle of music videos, it would lose out to Thriller. Like, not quite the same production quality as Thriller. Sure. Did you have any more notes on Tapestry, Michelle, or are we moving on?
That was it for Tapestry.
Are we gonna walk on down to Get a Grip? You see what I did there?
Yes, so good. So I said I went into this being like after I saw Steven Tyler live, I was like, I could definitely be an Aerosmith fan. Like, not that I dislike Carole King, but I haven't listened to a lot of Aerosmith other than like the hits. Like, I was just like, this is probably the only Aerosmith I've listened to, the album that I've listened to front to back in one sitting.
I say this not to be funny, but I think that's going to happen a lot in this tournament. Like, there's going to be a lot of artists that you haven't listened to their records all the way through, so it'll be interesting.
So I was a little I don't even know what the words are. All I have is rap intro ? on my notes.
So you were not as taken with it as Kyle and I were.
Yesterday was the day that Michelle figured out that Steven Tyler could try and rap.
Well, hold on though, points to Get a Grip though, because it's not marked rap intro equals not my jam. It's just a question mark.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I wasn't. Like, I literally put it on and I was like, this is like, did I put on like the remix album or like, what was it that we used to play at Media Play where people, what was it? Scratched and Screwed or whatever, the rap albums what was that called?
I know what you're talking about, but I won't come up with it. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, people would buy these albums and they return it and be like, this doesn't sound right. And it's because you bought like a covers version of that album.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I was like, what? I picked the wrong one. But I didn't dislike it. I think it just mostly caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But then there are a lot of jams on that record. Like we had already mentioned most of them. But as soon as I heard Living on the Edge, I immediately thought of Weird Al's version. Living in the Fridge. Like, I was just like, I was singing Weird Al's lyrics to the Aerosmith song.
I'm going to stop myself from going on, but Weird Al, his lyrics are always brilliant, and his lyrics to that song in particular are perfect. And what I love the most, and I swear to God, I'm going to cut myself off here because I could go on about Al for days, but is when he does the cross melodies in the chorus, like where it's like in the original, it's like living on the edge, you can't help yourself from fall. He's like it's living in the fridge, you can't stop the mold from growing. Like, it's just. I love that stuff. Anyway, so you got to Living on the Edge. Go on.
Oh, well, I was just saying, like, there's Crying is also my jam on there. Also, for Get a Grip, I wrote title track, and then I did this emoji. And if you can't, because you guys can't see me, it's the shoulder shrug. Yeah,
it is the shrug. Well, what's interesting, though, and again, people can't see you right now, but when I was saying that I liked the title track, you were doing a definite head shake just now.
Well, so like it wasn't like, because I put specifically not my jam for Carole King. For Aerosmith, I just put the shoulder shrug, which is, say that 10 times fast. Shoulder shrug emoji. Like I just heard it and I was like, I expected it. I guess I expected it to be more monster of a jam on both those records. Like that's what you named your record after.
Okay.
Track.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is like anticlimactic because there's so many other songs on both records that are so much bigger to me than the title track. So I was just like, okay, like that's there. And then the weird intros and outros to songs I wasn't a fan of.
You didn't appreciate the giant belch at the end of Eat the Rich?
I did not. Like, once I got through the rap intro, I, kind of expected that throughout the record, but I guess not a fan is not the word. I just didn't know that was a thing that Aerosmith did.
But and they don't get a grip. No, get a grip.
I listened to it.
No, I'm saying get a grip is singular in that. Like Pump has a few little things in before and after each cut, but like not anywhere along the lines of get a grip. Get a grip is that way. I have to say though that I do love the really long outro for Amazing, which I think is the last song on the record. It's either the last song or close to it.
2 minute.
Yeah.
There's a 2 minute like outro that's like another track, but it's after the last song on the record.
But one of my all-time favorite Steven Tyler isms is at the very end of that track, which is the light at the end of the tunnel may be you. And I that's a Steven Tyler ism. I love that. So any more notes on that record?
That was it. I just wanted to also note, I put notes on the feeling, my overall mood while listening to the records. I didn't go back to Carole King. I was chill and laid back. Like I could totally just put it on in the background and like have a nice glass of gin and tonic and just like relax. And then for Aerosmith, I was very much like upbeat, clean the house, like have a party.
Yeah, so and I think that comes
definitely.
I think that comes from the eras that the records came out in.
Absolutely, and they're two different genres, but I just feel like it was definitely two different records. Like it wasn't like you can't compare them in genre-wise. Like they were very different.
No.
Did it help you that I was yelling and singing and screaming along with the lyrics?
Nope.
All right.
I tried.
All right. Just for future reference, just so I know, I realize we have the stay-at-home order, but you all live a half mile away. What if in the future would it help if I came and stood on the deck while you were in the kitchen and yelled and screamed the lyrics of my future picks? Just so I know, will that help?
It would help if you drove up and down the block, blasting the songs and singing along.
Okay. Well, yeah.
My neighbors would love that.
If nothing else, you'll be like, "Wow, people really love that record. This is influencing my decision."
So, anyways, I did give them number scores, but I will wait until after the break.
Sure. Oh, spoiler alert. So there it is. There is a case made for Get a Grip. 1993 Aerosmith record, case made for that pick from Kyle, and a case made for Tapestry by Carole King, case made by me, the record from 1971. So what we are going to do is get Michelle's all-knowing and final ruling on this right here, and we are going to do that in just a little bit. We're going to take a break here, and then I believe right after that we'll probably come back from break and do your actual ruling out of the break, and then after that I'm certain there will be some sort of reactions and whatnot, maybe some more severe than others going forward. So we'll be right back with everybody in just a second.
Hey, I'm Lauren.
And I'm John.
And we host the Beard Al Podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al.
And a lot of other things. We're funny.
Yeah, that's basically what I told him to say. Good job with your script.
I listened.
Yay! But no, seriously, we try and pair a beer with a Weird Al song and talk about both things and go where the conversation takes us. It's fun, I promise. You'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like talking about random things as well as, fine craft beers and some wonderful craft music.
I'm Richie, aka Midnight Agent Raw.
I'm Devin, aka Special Delivery Dev.
We're the Super Media Bros Podcast. And each week, we give a comedically informative take on movies,
music,
television,
pro wrestling,
and much more. Check us out at supermediabrospodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that you can listen to podcasts. Shades on.
We're off.
All right, we're back and we are ready to hear Michelle's ruling. Now, real couple of quick things I want to mention. We are very much active and still ready to go on all social media, so please make sure if you haven't found us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, look for the Infectious Grove Podcast on all three of those, and you'll be able to find us very, very, very quickly. And we love all the interaction and everyone giving their opinions and thoughts on episodes, and I'm certain these types of episodes are very much going to have everyone help us out with what they think about everything and how things should have went and albums they would have put in the competition and so on and so forth. So having said that, here's the moment everyone's been waiting for. It's time for Michelle's ruling.
The winner is Carole King's Tapestry.
Yay!
Like I said, I was not coming into this I was just like, that's not, like, I like Carole King, but she's not really my jam. And turns out she is my jam. So I gave the album.
Tell us how the scoring broke down.
I gave the album a 6 out of 10. I probably won't.
There's going to be so many people happy that it won and so mad about that score. But go on.
Well,
I was gonna say, how does a 6 out of 10 win anything?
Like, I'm talking like
it's like the movie Silver Linings Playbook. Why are they so happy about a 5?
That movie's not good. It's so, like, when I think of a 10 out of 10, like, that's my favorite album. Like, this is not my favorite album. Like,
gotcha.
I
hear you.
It's a solid album. It's like better than average, which is 5. You know, I gave Aerosmith a 4 out of 10. So
oh boy,
it was surprising to me. I know. So I could see maybe it's like 6.5 out of 10 for Carole King.
Oh, you're gonna be nice and give her that extra 0.5
and bump her up a little bit. Yeah, I was definitely shocked at how much I like that record. Yeah, it's full jams. They're both good records. Aerosmith was definitely, that was not what I was expecting with the rapping and the intros and outros, which I'm pretty sure is what kind of did it for me. Like, I was just like, this is not, I don't know, would you call that a concept album? Like, I don't really know.
Get a grip? No.
Yeah. Like,
no, it's just an eclectic mix of Steven Tyler.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
What's funny is when I entered Tapestry, at first I thought, oh well, yeah, of course Michelle's gonna instantly latch to like such a strong female singer-songwriter, and then I was like, wait a minute, I bet she's never even heard this whole album. So I was kind of worried about how that was gonna go.
Yeah, I was like shocked at how many songs I knew already on there. Aerosmith as well, and there wasn't any songs on Aerosmith where I was like, skip, like they were just kind of there, and there was a couple songs on Carole King's where I was like, you're not really my jam, and like I could totally pass on this, but overall, records front to back, I had to give it to Carole King.
I hear you. Kyle, do you have anything to say? Like, it's an honor just to be nominated. I'm glad for all the, anything like that?
I can't even disagree, to be honest with you. Like I said, when I saw that was up against the record that I chose, in my head was like, oh shit.
Oh snap! Here it comes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's. I can't even disagree with the decision. It's a great album, and Steven Tyler and his eclectic weird shit that he does sometimes is not for everybody.
Yeah, I hear that too. Well, for me, I'm going to take the win. I'm going to be
take the win.
Happy about it. I want to say to the Academy, to those watching, we're all winners. We all do this for the love of the music. Zach, if you're watching at home, go to bed. But yeah, and what's funny is, like Michelle said early in this episode, I started to really go, hard for Get a Grip. I think it's a fantastic record, but if you put these up against each other, I agree with the judges' ruling this week.
You agree with me picking your record? Got it.
Yes, I do. I in fact agree with you picking my record. So this will be, as everyone knows, a little bit shorter episodes. I'm sure some will be longer than others and whatnot, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I will say that now, remember, this is a tournament, so Tapestry is going to return later in the tournament, so it may not fare so well going forward. We'll see. So we have a pretty exciting matchup next week. I think we have a really new record from the rap genre going against a very classic hard rock record. We have Eminem's Music to be Murdered By going up against Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's going to be Michelle is learning it at the same time as all of the listeners are.
I only looked at the first week's bracket.
No.
I can't get overwhelmed. So
No, I hear you. So we thank everybody for listening. Hopefully the bonus episodes are bringing everybody joy. Hopefully you like the idea, and we'll get them out week by week. See y'all.
bye.